Let's look at how to create and run a TensorFlow session. Now, creating and running a TensorFlow session is a fundamental aspect of working with TensorFlow. Sessions encapsulate the execution environment for TensorFlow operations and allow you to compute the output of tensors and perform computations within a defined context. Let's delve into the details of creating and running TensorFlow sessions. First, creating a TensorFlow session. In TensorFlow, you create a session to execute operations within a computational graph. TensorFlow provides various ways to create sessions depending on the version and execution mode, eager execution or graph mode. TensorFlow in TensorFlow 1.x, you create a session using tf.Session class. Here you can see the example. Import TensorFlow as tf. You define your TensorFlow operations, constant 2 and constant 3. We add both of them in C and create a TensorFlow session and result equal to sess.run. See, and that's the result. In TensorFlow 2.x, eager execution is enabled by default and you don't need to create session explicitly. Operations are executed immediately and you can directly access the results. So if you see here, exactly the same stuff as above, but instead of going through the session, what we are doing is the result equal to c.numpy and print the result out there. So you can access the result directly by calling the numpy function. Running TensorFlow operations. Within a TensorFlow session, you use the sess.run method to execute operations and compute the output of tensors. You can pass the tensors you want to compute as arguments to sess.run. Here is an example where you can say tf.compat in the session, missing result sess.run with a C, execute the C operation and compute the output here, and that's where you get the result. Closing the session. In TensorFlow 1.x, you typically use sessions within a context manager with statement. Using the with statement, TensorFlow sessions are automatically closed at the end of the context, releasing these resources. In TensorFlow 2.x, since eager execution is enabled by default, you don't need to explicitly create or close sessions. Operations are executed immediately and resources are managed automatically. Creating and running TensorFlow sessions is essential for executing operations and computing the output of tensors within the TensorFlow computational graph. In TensorFlow 1.x, you create sessions using tf.Session and execute operations within the session using sess.run. In TensorFlow 2.x, with eager execution enabled, by default, sessions are not explicitly created or closed, and you can directly access the results of operations. Understanding how to create and manage TensorFlow sessions is crucial for effectively working with TensorFlow and building machine learning models.